Again, my name is Laura Suter, and I have been in the construction industry for 20 years. And just one moment. I graduated as an engineer from University of Detroit Mercy, locally here in Detroit. And I'm a certified quality auditor through ASQ, certified for construction quality management, also through the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. In my 20 years, I worked 8 years with design firms in their construction groups, doing both design and resident engineering. And then I went into a role with the general contractor for the past 12 years. I have a true passion for quality and the details. I know Hatham has also great passion for quality, and I love it. I was just filled with excitement listening to his presentation. So hopefully I can provide some details as well. So what's BIM? BIM is Building Information Modeling, as we talked about. Hopefully you know a little bit about it coming and listening to this presentation, but it's an intelligent 3D model-based process that gives architectural, engineering, and construction professionals and insight and tools to more efficiently plan, design, construct, and manage buildings and infrastructure. Well, that was just a big mouthful, and I know when someone reads me a definition, I just kind of shut down. And what do I really need to know about BIM? And it's the efficiency and the proactive approach. It's all about risk management. And why should I use BIM? People ask that all the time. I do. My phrase that I hear all the time in this industry is, I've been doing this my whole career. Why do I need to change? My blueprints are fine, and I don't need anything extra. Why should I spend the money on something different when this works? So it's all about the risk management, and it's all through the process of construction. It's from the beginning to the very end. From the time that we thought about it, that client says, oh, I think I need this project. I think I need this renovation. Oh, I think I need this road, or I need this upgrade in my plant. Any type of construction, BIM can be used. And really, I'm here to talk about pre-construction, but this starts way before in the design phase, and I'll let my colleagues talk about that. I'll take off from pre-construction. So when you're doing a bid, what kind of information do we need? We definitely need coordination. We need our trade partners, our subcontractors, our vendors to be a part of this, giving us information about value engineering. Is there going to be any conflicts in when they put in their model, making sure that when we're writing people's contracts that they understand what those BIM requirements are. That's the biggest part. Is it going to be that one single model that Hani talked about? Or is it going to be everyone does their own model, and then we're meant to collaborate at the end and try to find a way to meld them together? Are the teams required to use a certain type of software? There's so many different types of softwares for BIM. Is it going to be single source, or are we going to have to deal with different ways of communicating with different platforms? We need to find out a way for clash detection. Many times we're doing our overhead design work, and there's not enough room for the steel and the mechanical piping, and then the electrician comes, but the security contractor is being hired by the owner and not included in the drawings. Where are their piping going to be? Are we thinking about these things and being able to catch those things before we're actually performing the construction? The BIM tool and the conceptual model for that is huge in detecting those problems before they actually happen. Again, risk management and being proactive and helping your client understand the value of what they're putting forth. And fabrication, I know one of our colleagues Erin is going to talk about the fabrication process. We're not dealing with tolerances, high tolerances. We have to make sure our tolerances are tight. If you're doing bridge work, or if you're doing steel in a building, you're doing roofing work, just an ever so slight fraction of an inch could really be detrimental to your whole design, your whole construction, and could result in failure. And failure can be huge. Not only monetary, but your reputation. And also, what lives could you risk? As we're talking about, we'll talk about soon, is the safety portion. How are we keeping everyone safe? You can't put a monetary value on safety and the risks that you're taking there. Your owner satisfaction. I find that when people see that you're taking the initiative to actually go forth and put that work through, you're going to see that the owner feels comfortable with you. There's that trust factor. Building that pyramid of trust is huge for everyone involved. And I'm going to move forward. Also, RFI reduction. Nothing is better than a job. I go and audit a job. I ask them, how many RFIs did you have? What's your turnaround time? It's time consuming for the entire project. Do you have that built-in quality portion in your system? Are you having a hard time answering those questions, and why? So then we go into construction. Why are we using BIM in construction? There's so many collaborative tools for, again, clash detection as you're building. As you have to make changes, you can mark it right there in the system on your iPad. The superintendents, those project engineers, anyone can just make a mark on the as-built, and it's live and interactive. So then the next person that comes in doesn't look on a paper blueprint or an old copy, an uncontrolled drawing that says, well, some old information. Some jobs have 10 change bulletins, some have 100 I've had. And honestly, when we're going through, there are some owners that just can't visualize it on paper. They need to see it. So you can use that BIM for mock-ups. It has a wonderful visual effect for people to understand what they're actually buying, what their money is going to be put forth, because no one likes free work. You can use this tool for auditing and punch listing. I tell people all the time, we want to make sure that we do a punch list from day one. It's a rolling punch list. Punch list is traditionally thought of as something that we do at the very end of a project, but what we're actually doing is starting from the beginning. What's our deficiencies? If you want to call it a punch list, a deficiency list, a hot list, whatever makes you feel comfortable, but you got to keep on documenting what's going on, because turnover is a real thing. People don't want to document this, but I don't remember what I had for breakfast, so I don't really know what happened on the project last week, last month, or in some cases 3 years ago, depending on how big your project is. And owner satisfaction, I can't talk about this one enough, because if you have a satisfied owner, people are really going to want to do business with you. They're going to turn to your team and ask for them specifically. Hey, can I have so-and-so in my project? Because I really liked how they managed my project. I felt comfortable with them. I was able to see them, and they did well with the schedule. I was able to be proactive with them, and they kept me informed. This tool is a way to keep that communication. You communicate your expectations upfront and quickly, then people have a chance to really come back and say, this is the intent of the design. If you want to say, yes, this is what I designed, but really, what was the intent? You have to follow the real true intent. I once had a representative tell me, I just want you to build what's in the drawings. If it says build the door upside down, that's what I want you to do. I don't care if it's right or wrong or indifferent, that's what I want you to do. But really, what's going to happen is no one wants that door upside down. You want to be able to say, hey, I'm better than that. I value my work. I take pride in my work, and I want you to know before I do this, I'm going to save you money and be able to collaborate with everyone and save you from having an upside down door or anything else that might go wrong. So people are always telling me reasons why I'm not going to do BIM. And it's always like, very first one, I don't have the time and I don't have the cost. Is it really going to do anything for me on my return on investment? It's so costly. What did I hire my designer for if I have to hire you to double check them? Why are they're my professionals and I trust them. Why do I need another thing to check? Or honestly, a lot of people just don't understand it. They don't have the technical expertise. Their teams don't have it. We're not dealing with sophisticated trade partners that are going to be able to update this. Are we really going to have a product at the end of the day that's going to make sense? And the knowledge base is huge, again, and the software conversions that I talked about. You have to know how to use the program and how you're going to manage that program and how it's going to affect your project in the long run. I had a job at the end of the day. We had allowed the trade partners to all do their own BIM modeling and submit it as an as-built. Well, the software conversions ended up being so complex. It was 2 years later and we were still fixing problems in the BIM model because we didn't properly import everybody else's drawings and the layout, and they kept on causing problems. We had a huge lessons learned and we're able to share that with the entire company and not make those same mistakes again. But honestly, let's talk about how can we afford to say no. Industry data says that 2 to 4% of contracts, cost of contracts is spent on rework for all new construction. 2 to 4%, think about that, because in some markets, that's your margin of fee. And 4 to 6 for renovation projects. If you're dealing with a space that's already done, people aren't looking at the existing portions. Are we thinking about all the problems that we're going to run through? The unknown conditions that you're going to run into in an old building, existing spaces, old plants, etc. As you can see here, this was not well thought out, these beams here. You're going to have a few people's heads hit or no access to your stairs. So that should have been reworked. You can see that people took complete disregard here. They cut out portions of the railing, and this was very poorly thought out. You don't want that project. So back to, let's take a project cost of $1 million. Some of you may be using $1 million is low, $1 million is high. We don't know, but let's take a nice round number. If your fee is about 5%, let's say you're making $50,000 fee for your owner, for whoever you work for, $50,000. And if you spend that average 4% on rework, right in the middle of that 2 to 6%, you're spending $40,000 on that rework. So your profit is now only $10,000. Does your company want to go after that project for only $10,000? Probably not. And that's probably, that margin of profit is not high enough. And then if we lost $40,000, how much money, how much new work will we have to bring in? I hope you have a good pre-construction team bringing in lots of great new work. That's $800,000 of new work that you're going to have to bring in because your team lost $40,000 on rework. That's not really a good idea. And that's if nothing else went wrong on your project. If your estimator was able to find, there was no fee erosion anywhere else, the estimator was included everything, and you were perfect on everything that you could ever think of, and nothing went wrong. And if you have that project, I want to talk to you because I'd love to find out what you did. So I don't know about you, but I can't afford it. I don't want to do that to my company. I don't think anybody else wants to do that either. So let's talk about what's really at stake. It's more than dollars and cents, because honestly, Quality is your legacy. Everything about it. At the end of the day, when people are talking about what their project, how much their project costs, it doesn't really matter. What date did I turn it on over? Was it April 16th, 2016, or was it May 16th? Nobody cares. Nobody remembers 10 years later. All they remember is the quality of the end product. Do they love you or hate you? Was your ABC contractor the best people to work with, or the absolute worst? The doors falling off, the pipes don't work, our air conditioner doesn't work. That's what they remember. It's the quality of the end product. That's your legacy. And that's your reputation, your repeat business, and your client satisfaction. Steve Jobs says, or said, customers don't measure you on how hard you tried. They only measure you on what you deliver. So it's that. Oh, I had two. So let's just add a closing note. It's from design to vision, design 2D to vision, that 3D, people can see it, into your reality. That's it.